Thank you for coming today, everyone. Today's in-depth training topic, we're going to be talking about how the system supports multiple different credit card processors for being able to make your payments and using multiple different processors to run those payments. So as most people know, there is a credit card module that the system supports that lets you process credit cards in the system. And traditionally, we used to be able to have only one credit card processor for all the different payments that you make. One of the changes that's come in 5.1 is now we have the ability to select multiple different credit card processor accounts and tie those to different payments, so that way if you make one payment you can use one merchant account, and if you make another type of payment you can use a different merchant account for that. The way that this is set up is if you go to Setup, Accounting Setup, and then over on the left we have the credit card options. So within here, if we go to the edit here, we can enable our credit card processing, and then that will have the different processors that we use for this particular credit card. So I got my Capital Q account where I can go and put in my information, I can test it out, I can tell it which methods I want to be able to use with this particular account, and I can go ahead and create all those. I can also go and add in multiple different accounts and make the information that way. Give it a different name and then assign all the different information for that particular account, and then assign that to the different accounts and the different types of credit cards I want to process. So I can create multiple different accounts that will show up in this list. So if I save those, it's going to go through and make me pick all the information. So you would get that information from your credit card vendor. But what that does then is, once you have that set up, if you go to Setup, Accounting Setup again, and go to Payment Methods, when you set up a different credit card, you have the ability to tell it to process the payment type online, and if you are going to process that payment type online, you get to assign it which merchant account to use based off the accounts that we just set up. So that way you can make multiple different Visa, multiple different MasterCard payment types that use either a different merchant account or are not even processed online, separate from the online processing that you set up. And that lets you go through and say, okay, I'm going to have these 3 different Visa cards that we process, all of them through different payment and merchant accounts. And that's pretty much all there is to set up these. You can use that in conjunction with division, which is another video that we spoke about, so you could create multiple different payment methods for different divisions that you would use by going here and saying you're going to create new payment option, Visa 2, or whatever you want to call your payment account, and then say to process it online, and then which account that you'd want to use. So that's all there is to set up multiple different merchant accounts that lets you use those accounts with your online credit card processing. About the multiple credit card processors for online processing.